He forcefully pulled out his underwear and carefully stuffed it into the shoes. Then he removed his socks and stuffed them in too until the shoes were completely full. He ultimately discarded the shoes containing a phone worth over $10,000, using socks and underwear to cushion it and prevent damage while trapped on a 3,000-meter high tower. They climbed the world's tallest tower in 4 hours, but they did it solely to fulfill the boyfriend's wishes. The girl took a pack of ashes out of a cardboard box, then wept and silently recited many sweet words. She directly scattered the ashes, finally fulfilling her boyfriend's wish to challenge his limits. But just as they were preparing to leave the tower, an accident occurred. The girl was seen carefully stepping on the ladder. At that moment, a screw suddenly fell off and immediately the girl lost control and fell down. Her best friend fortunately grabbed her shoulder in time, stopping her from plummeting into the abyss. They hadn't anticipated such a terrifying event during their expedition. The best friend quickly wrapped a rope around the tower peak and then pulled with all her might, but due to the limited space, it was difficult for her to exert force. The next second, her foot slipped. He quickly pressed his foot against the tower peak again, averting tragedy. Meanwhile, the girl, driven by survival, grabbed the safety rope and desperately climbed toward the tower's summit. He quickly grabbed the ladder 1 meter above the tower peak. With a friend's help, the girl survived and returned to the tower. Having walked through Hell's Gates once, she was extremely excited. Now is not the time to be happy, because the lower ladder has fallen to the ground. How are they to climb back down from the 3,000-meter high tower peak? The girl hurriedly took out her phone to call for help at 3,000 miles altitude, but there was no signal. Both panicked, fearing they could die of thirst or starvation without rescue. The girl discovered her food-packed backpack was stuck on a signal tower transmitter, not fallen. With no stairs below, retrieval seemed impossible. Suddenly, her best friend realized there was no signal between towers. Lower positions may improve the signal. To rescue her, her friend tied the phone to the safety rope and composed a message. Please like, subscribe, share, and donate to support the Mingjing and Diandian columns. Unfortunately, even after lowering the rope, the phone didn't confirm sending. To get a signal, her best friend climbed the 1-meter ladder arm, holding with one hand and pulling the rope to lower the phone as much as possible. Her best friend weakened, forcing her to stop searching for a signal and return to the platform. Seeing the distress message wasn't sent, her friend was disappointed. Suddenly, the girl thought of, they could throw the phone down. If it didn't break upon landing, the distress message would be sent. A brilliant idea realized. Her best friend immediately removed her shoes and placed the phone, sending the message inside to ensure safety. Her friend pulled off her underwear, stuffed it into shoes to protect the phone from breaking on impact. Then they threw the Hope shoe to the ground. After waiting a day with no phone, they despaired until unexpectedly discovering an iron box beneath the column on the high tower. Inside, Jinfeng's telescope and signal gun offered hope. They soon used it to spot below the high tower. They called for help loudly, but shouts from hundreds of meters went unheard. Panicked, the girl hurriedly removed her shoe and threw it down, yet it was still not heard. Kajing then. The shoe struck the metal ladder directly, creating a loud noise. A man arrived at the fallen shoe's location, looked around but found nothing, then turned to leave again. Panicking, the girl hastily drew her signal gun, but her best friend stopped her to share a new discovery. Below, a motorhome was camping, so she suggested firing at night. Because the nighttime light was most noticeable and her best friend's suggestion brought luck, as dark night set in, the girl couldn't wait to fire the gun. After long disuse left the signal gun malfunctioning, the girl shook it and finally fired, its bright red flash lighting the night sky. Simultaneously, the motorhome owner noticed it. Her friend turned on and repeatedly shook the flashlight, ultimately gaining attention from the other side. They saw the person driving the motorhome toward them, feeling excited. However, the driver's actions swiftly turned their joy to despair, revealing human nature's ugliness. The motorhome found the girl's car and smashed the window, seemingly seeking rescue tools. However, they soon realized the motorhome's occupant had stolen the car, leaving them powerless to act. They could only curse furiously, plunging them into despair again. Nothing compared to the deadly fear at their physical limits. In a blink, the girl's legs rotted and became ugly, though she was numb and felt no pain. Hunger and thirst are the biggest challenges, so her best friend suggests retrieving the backpack. If the rope reaches it, the friend is confident she can bring it up, but the girl refuses to risk her friend. The best friend, determined to avoid choking to death, secures the rope and begins descending the tower, but unexpectedly an accident occurs shortly into the descent. Fortunately, her best friend has strong mental fortitude and skilled techniques, so she doesn't fall. Stabilizing herself, she descends step by step. Nearing the backpack, she remains too distant. No matter her efforts, she can't reach it. At that moment, best friend makes crazy decision, unbuckles safety rope without precautions. The best friend reaches for the backpack without protective gear, but it's slightly distant. To get it, she decides to jump and unexpectedly leaps from an altitude of 10,000 meters. Fortunately, she safely jumps to the only support point. The thrilling scene unsettles her for a long time as she cautiously pokes her head out. After calming down, the best friend quickly retrieves and drinks water from her backpack. The observing girl can only swallow her saliva. However, climbing back up poses a major problem as the rope is just centimeters away. She had no choice but to take out a selfie stick, attach it to her backpack, and hang the backpack on the rope. Grabbing the mid-air backpack is risky, but her strong fitness allows her to hold it steadily and survive. Seeing this, the girl pulls with all her strength while her best friend climbs step by step. An accident occurs as they reach the tower's top. The girl stared at the taut rope, feeling mixed emotions. She cautiously peeked out. Luckily, her best friend's backpack caught her, preventing a fall. With another tug, she pulled her friend back to the high tower. At the same time, uplifting news emerged. A drone was in the backpack. They soon found paper and a pen and wrote the high tower's location and a distress message on it. They affixed the note to the drone, believing it could save them if it reached the inn on Lychee Road. The girl piloted the drone, but unexpectedly, the remote indicated a low battery before it flew far. If it didn't return on time, the drone would crash. Fortunately, the girl quickly controlled it remotely, flew it back, and caught it with her hand just before it fell. Charging became a major problem, limiting their methods. They rested to conserve energy, unaware the high tower was terrifying at night. The scent of blood from the girl's legs swiftly attracted vultures, revealing the brutal scene. Her best friend had died earlier, her face half torn by scavengers. Suddenly, she cried for her best friend. The panicked girl was awakened to find her friend peacefully beside her. It was a terrible dream as obstruction lights flashed atop the tower. This inspired the girl to find a way to charge the drone. They waited until daytime, then she climbed the pillar, removed the scorching lampshade and bulb, and plugged the charger into the bulb base. Unexpectedly, this worked. The drone began charging, but the girl soon faced more difficulties. Her body couldn't support her and trembled violently. A sudden aerial rescue also attacked her. Faced with life or death, she chose to persevere. Once the drone was fully charged, she safely returned to the high tower hoping to call for help. However, God seemed to mock them as the drone flew to a populated area, and the motel appeared in sight. Immediately, a drone emerged from a car and vanished instantly. Luckily, they saw the driver had exited. Obtaining the drone's distress message would ensure their rescue, but they didn't expect. After exiting the car, the driver glanced at the drone, looked around the area, and quickly drove away, as if he feared being caught and having to compensate. All hope was shattered as death loomed helplessly, until he terrifyingly saw half his best friend's face, suddenly snapping him to his senses then. He learned his best friend died falling when she took her backpack earlier. Terrified and lonely, she avoided facing it, so he always imagined her with him. Now he saw her corpse. This horrifying scene rekindled the girl's desire to live, but physiological hunger left her on brink of death and her leg wounds went unresponsive. Finally, he quickly acted to strangle the Sudden. After a struggle, the Sudden was soon his prey. Although eating raw meat was difficult for him, after a hearty meal, it gave him the ability to think again. While gazing again at his best friend's corpse, he conceived a dreadful survival plan. Using a safety rope, he descended swiftly to his daughter and first sent a distress message to his father. He removed his best friend's only shoe, placing his phone inside. Instead of discarding the shoe, he shoved it directly into his friend's corpse and pushed the body down as it hit the ground. The message was finally sent. After uncertain time, the father received the signal, called, and the rescued girl fell into his arms, crying bitterly. Careful viewers noticed two girls on the signal tower wore vests while Bella's father wore a thick jacket. Whether the girl was rescued remains uncertain. The key point is that viewers should not risk irreversible situations for the sake of thrills in front of the screen.